Heroes and History, The Boston Tea Party, read to you by Carol Brigham. The Boston Tea Party of 1773 was an important event in American history. Here's how it started. Taxation without representation. Great Britain had many colonies in North America. When Britain needed money in the 1760s, it decided to tax the people in its colonies. The colonists in America did not have any representatives in Britain. In 13 of the British colonies, the people protested against the new taxes. They said, "No taxation without representation." British Parliament removed all but one tax, the tax on tea. The colonists did not want to pay that tax either. They didn't want to pay any tax that they hadn't voted for themselves. Take the tea back to England. On November 28, 1773, a ship arrived in Boston Harbor. It was loaded with boxes of tea. The next day, the colonists had a meeting. Samuel Adams was one of the leaders. He was in a group called the Sons of Liberty. Sam Adams said that the ships must leave Boston Harbor. They should take the tea back to England. The people agreed. 25 men went to the harbor. They would not let anyone take the tea off the ship. The governor's threat. On November 30, the people of Boston had another meeting. Governor Hutchinson, the British governor of Massachusetts, sent a message. "This meeting is against the law. Leave now. Have no more meetings like this. If you do, your lives will be in danger." This threat made the colonists angry. They would not leave the meeting. The tension rises. On December 2 and December 7, 2 more ships arrived with tea. The ships must leave, the colonists said. But Governor Hutchinson told British soldiers to shoot at any ship that left Boston Harbor without his permission. On December 16, 1773, there was another meeting. This time, 6,000 people came. That was more than a third of all the people in Boston. The colonists demanded that the tea ships leave Boston Harbor. But Governor Hutchinson would not give permission for the ships to leave. "A teapot tonight." The Sons of Liberty had a new plan. Sam Adams gave the signal. Boston Harbor will be a teapot tonight. 60 Sons of Liberty went down to the harbor. Some were dressed as Indians. They went on to the ships that had the tea. A crowd of people followed them down to the harbor and watched. The Indians brought the boxes of tea up onto the decks of the ships. They used axes and tomahawks to break open the boxes. They worked all night. They dumped 342 boxes of tea into the harbor. The King punishes Boston. When King George heard about this, he was furious. He asked Parliament to punish the entire colony of Massachusetts. He said they could not have town meetings. He ordered Boston Harbor to be closed. Ships were not allowed to enter or leave the harbor, even to bring food. He sent more British soldiers to control Boston. Leaders in all of the other colonies wanted to help Boston. In September 1774, they met in Philadelphia to talk about it. They called the king's punishment the Intolerable Acts. Over the next months, they prepared for a rebellion. They collected guns and ammunition. The British are coming. On April 18, 1775, the British general ordered his soldiers to find the colonists' guns and ammunition. He ordered them to find Sam Adams and other American leaders. Late at night, the British soldiers marched out of Boston. They marched toward the small town of Lexington. However, American spies had seen the British getting ready. Paul Revere and William Dawes rode as fast as they could to Lexington and Concord. They warned the Minutemen that the British soldiers were coming. In Lexington, the Minutemen were ready when the British came. The shot heard round the world. 70 farmers stood with their guns against 700 British soldiers. Someone fired a shot. No one knows which side fired that first shot. The British then began to shoot at the Americans. They killed 8 Minutemen. Then the British marched on to Concord. War against Britain began that night. The Americans declared their independence July 4, 1776. They fought many battles against the British. The last great battle of the war was on October 19, 1781, at Yorktown, Virginia. 2 years later, the Treaty of Paris gave the 13 colonies their freedom. They became the United States of America. To subscribe to Easy English News, or for more information on our free supplementary materials or other works by Elizabeth Clare, visit our website at elizabethclare.com.